So this will be a joint presentation by the board members. But the idea is we wanted to give you a year worth of progress, what we have been doing as OpenSFS. Last update we provided you was at last year's LUG. And we will keep doing this every LUG to tell you what we have done, where we are, and we will welcome your inputs, you telling us what we should be doing differently or better. First of all, is this updated? Nope. Okay, so this is the whole OpenSFS community landscape minus Uber, okay? This probably was as of yesterday, and since then we added Uber as a new member to our midst, so welcome Uber. And Houston is missing also? Okay, so we are missing too. University of Houston is also here. So welcome both of them. And we are sitting, what, 32 or 33 at this point? I cannot count at my back. Okay, whatever. So comparing this to last year, we have grown 11 members, if my math is correct, compared to last year. So that is more than 50% growth in terms of members and participants, which we call them supporters altogether. I don't know if we can sustain 50% growth every year going down the road, but at least for this year, this is a tremendous amount of growth. So I thank everybody who had any help in making this possible. I know our vendors went and persuaded their customers to come to OpenSFS to join us. We made outreach to some members and vendors to come and join us. So lots of people played a role in our growth up until this point, and we are very successful this year. So if we can grow something similar to next year, I'll call it a success. But let's take what it is, and we are growing nice, and this is quite an achievement by itself. So this is for the newcomers, who we are, what we do, and a refresher to all our previous and existing members and supporters. What we do is the top 3 bullets, and what we don't is the bottom one, that we do not fund Lustre development directly. We are not being the ringmaster anymore. We are not trying to tell people what they should develop or what they should not develop. We are not funding. We are not in that business anymore since last year, since we made the transition. But what we are doing is we are trying to keep a healthy and stable Lustre community, including the end users, members, and the Lustre vendors, participants. We are trying to bring everybody around the same table, and we are trying to promote the Lustre and Lustre community, and we are trying to do that by organizing the Lustre user group conference, just like this one, and the Bird of a Feathers session at SC, and also with our partners at EOFS, we are trying to do the same at ISC. So that is what we are trying to do, and that is what we are not trying to do. And Kent, would you like to come? No, okay, fine. Would you like to stand up then? Okay, we did that on Tuesday, and here we are again. So we had board elections, and we had 2 vacancies, then it became 3, and by bylaws, we are required to have a nomination committee that's independent than the board, who goes around to the members and gets the qualified volunteers to become serving board members for the open positions as dictated by the bylaws. So Kent Ned and John were this year's nominating committee. I sincerely thank for all their efforts. And so initially there were 2 open positions. As I said, they found 3 candidates. Then one of the board members, Rick Wagner, our treasurer, resigned from his position. So we had 3 open positions, 3 candidates. Looked like a good match. And so this is the final lookup. So Kirill Lozinski, he's standing over there, is our new treasurer. Yes, a round of applause. Kevin Harms, our gracious host at the back, is also serving as a vice president for next 2 years. So congratulations. Ken, where's Ken? Ken, at the back. I'm sorry, I missed you. How can I miss you? Ken Rawlings from Indiana University is elected as the secretary for next 2 years. So congratulations, Ken. And this is the current composition of the board. My position and Sean's position will be up for election next year, if I'm mistaken, by the board. So if there are any volunteers, please come forward. Huh? Also the treasurer. Yes, sorry, I missed. Okay, so Kirill is filling in the open position from Rick's, which was a 2-year position that was elected a year ago. So Kirill has 1 year in his term to fill. So we will have 3 positions open next year around the LUG timeframe. It will be the president position, it will be the director at large position, and it will be the treasurer position. This organization lives around you. So I urge all of our members, please come forward and put your names forward so we can share the responsibility and give you these positions, and we can do other things if possible. I don't want my name or anybody's name to be there for next few years, if possible. Moving on. So finances. Kirill, do you want to do this part?
Let me see if this works. Oh, it does. Okay, everyone. So my name is Kirill Wazinski. I'm from Berkeley Lab. I'm the treasurer for the next year. And so I just wanted to show you a couple of quick slides here. So we have the finances from 2017, and then we'll have finances from 2018. So you can see here that the majority of our income comes from events. So these gatherings are very beneficial to us to make sure that we can keep advancing the community. And you can see in the expenses that the item that will be gone in 2018 is the technical development. So that was closed out and that no longer exists. And the other miscellaneous services that we have there. Feel free to ask me, any questions you have about these. Okay, and then 2018. So this is what we're looking at like now. These are projections. So some of these items will change, notably events and hopefully memberships. We were somewhat conservative with our membership dues. We're actually hoping to get more than 3 new members on board. So that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirill. So bottom line is we are trying to be good stewards of the revenue we bring in and our budgets. And if you can see, we are very lean and we are a nonprofit to start with, and we don't have much to carry on. So this event is quite important to us. And if you had any questions why we are not doing this at Hilton Head or some luxury resort someplace else, this is the reason. We are organizing these at member sites where the member sites can take some of the cost off of our shoulders so we can reclaim some revenue. And if you look at it, half of our revenue is coming from an event like this, and the other half almost is coming from the membership dues. And that's all we have And with that, we have to survive a year. And if you also notice, we don't have much carryover money going from one year to another. So growth is very important to bring in more members so we can rake in the member dues. Also, we will keep doing this LUG events at member sites, and that's not going to change in near time future. So please get used to it. We are not going to a luxury hotel anytime soon, okay? Any questions about the budget? This is your money, so full transparency. Do we have any questions? Okay. Sorry.
Real easy one. Just for administrative services, what's an example of an administrative service?
So Jan has just left, but she is representing a firm. I think I was talking to you. You said you are diligently receiving the board meeting minutes, right? That doesn't magically happen. There is someone at the board meetings taking notes, keeping agenda, and then organizing those minutes and then sending them out. Or when we want to organize an event like this, we have to establish discussions with the host side and everything. That firm does that for us. Our website is being run by them. So there are expenses to keep this operating. And that is that amount. Yeah, they also set up our budget, keep that. So actually, our job as the board is quite easy. If anyone wondering how much workload is that, it's not more than an hour, maybe an hour a week. So if you are willing to put your name as a board officer, whatever capacity it is, it's not much work. The bulk of the work is being done behind the scenes before we even come to the meeting by that management company. So we are not spending that much time. Everybody has a day job and we have to keep the light load. So that's the cost. Any other questions on the budget? Okay, moving on. By the way, just to remind you again, board meetings are open to public. Minutes are open to public. If you want to come and listen what we are doing, you are more than welcome. We are meeting weekly. The logistics are on the website. You don't need an invite. Just show up and say, I'm here. You are more than welcome. The minutes are being sent on to which email list? Yeah, anyone who is a supporter are getting a copy of the minutes. You don't have to do anything. If you are a member or a participant, your site designates whoever that is, that email address is getting those minutes as well. So you can keep track of what we are doing. There's full transparency at every step. Okay, moving on. This is one thing we did for the first time this year, and this we think is quite important going forward. Ken Rawlings is the board officer who is responsible for shepherding the whole this process, so he's going to tell us about that.
Thank you, sir. So for the requirements gathering process, we had two main objectives. The first was to provide a mechanism for communication between members and participants. Oh, thank you. For Lustre feature and enhancement requests. And in doing so, provide a unified voice for the Lustre community in shaping the Lustre, in helping to shape the Lustre roadmap. In support of these, there were two main goals. The first is to collect, organize, and prioritize those OpenSFS members' feature enhancement requests, and then present those to OpenSFS participants, and then communicate that feedback from the participants back to the members. So talk a little bit more about how this process was gone through. The first is that the requests from members were collected. This was done on a request tracker site. It was open for, there's the details down at the bottom. There's the full process is defined in the OpenSFS handbook, but in the OpenSFS member participant communication document process, that's one of the reasons we tend to refer to as requirements gathering. A little tough to say, but there's timelines associated with many of these steps. These were collected, then organized, and then the members voted on these requests. The ranked output of this exercise was then communicated to the participants, also to members, and this is the point that we're at now, is there are meetings with participants to discuss the results of this process and the document that was produced. The feedback from participants will then be provided back to the members, thus closing the loop. Part of the idea here is to have a yearly feedback loop between our members and our participants. We also have scheduled in as part of this a virtual meeting of members to review the process and the document for potential changes going forward year to year. So this process was intentionally designed to provide value to both members and participants. For members, one of the large aspects of it is that it allows those requirements to be declared as a collective, as a group. Their strength in numbers. Second, since this is declared as a collective, it's a level playing field. All members are equal in this process. For participants, it allows that output to be, that collective landscape of requirements to be communicated in a collective landscape to participants in a comprehensive way. There's one document that's produced, the OpenSFS member participant communication document, that has all of the output from this process. So, as Sarp was saying, this is the first year that we went through the process. We had 26 requests submitted and voted on by members. And speaking of which, if we could have our member site delegates stand for a moment. Thank you. Your commitment and your efforts in support of this process are very appreciated. And as a result of those efforts, as a result of those efforts, what's the best way to put this? As a result of those efforts, we have a group of, we categorized those requests into 5 categories. And I wanted to say special thanks to Alex Kulyasev for helping in this process. The primary category, I should say the category with the highest percentage was operation, administration, and management with 31%, followed closely by performance, then storage management, then the last 2 being availability and data integrity and recovery, covering about 16% of the votes. The full document with all of these requests and detailed details about the requests is available in the full document, which is available for all OpenSFS supporters. So, the first year has gone well. We had a high level of member engagement. I believe it was 16 or 17 of our members were directly involved in this process. We've had our first participant meeting scheduled. Please, participants, communicate with us. Let's schedule more meetings and going forward. This is the first year. As I was saying, it's gone quite well, but we're going to be reviewing this for improvements going forward. And if you're not currently a member of OpenSFS, please join and be part of this process. I have here next year, the process actually will start up again sometime in this fall. And with that, if there are any feedback, is there any feedback or questions? I'd be happy to address them.
So this whole process has been designed as a value add for the members and the participants. As Ken said, we are trying to level the playing field. So Oak Ridge is not the big gorilla in the room anymore, neither Livermore. A small university has equal voice as the DOE labs in this case. Every member site has 10 votes, and however they cast them is same for one site to another. And the 26 items Ken mentioned has been voted against these directives, and the outcome has been communicated to all participants. Those participants are Intel and DDN and so on that you have seen on the supporters page. So all of those companies, vendors, have a copy right now in their inbox or as of, what, 3-4 days ago? Yeah, last week. So they all have the same copy of what the members think the vendors should be doing going forward in terms of feature enhancements and feature requests. So this is a value add for the members. Now we have a common unique voice. Yes, we are not directly funding Lustre development, but we are doing this instead. We are trying to communicate, collect your requests and communicate to the vendor. We are doing this now, and that's a value add for the members. And we are also communicating this to the participants, so there's a value add for the participants. So now they know what it is the members want. And if you want to know more about this process, the process is outlined on the bylaws and handbook. You can read over there. If you want to be part of this process, please become an OpenSFS member or a participant. Do you have any questions on this one? Okay.